Guys, welcome to a bit of a different episode of Beauty in the Small Things. In this one, Max and I are going to discuss COVID-19, which is plaguing the world at the moment. It may not be an episode for everyone. It's a little bit different. This is obviously an issue that will affect everyone in the world in some way or another, and it is difficult to talk about. I'm not gonna lie, whether you're affected financially or your health or the people around you. We just wanted to sort of raise the conversation because I think joining together in a community in a time like this is going to be really, really important. If we said anything in this video that you disagree with, or perhaps we may not have been aware of, please let us know, because the whole point of what we're doing is to try and help. So if we've said anything that perhaps you think may not have helped, please let us know. We'd love to address it. And if there's any way we can help as well, please, reach out. Otherwise, reach out to your local community, your friends and family. We're all in this together as humans. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you get some value, some comfort from it in some way. I really just hope it gives you some value or some benefit in some sort. Max, we're officially live.
We're live.
We're live right now. We're not really live. It's we're pre-recording, but so welcome to
in a live scenario.
So welcome to a special edition of Beauty in the Small Things. I'm Tim.
I'm Max.
This is Max. Where's Max? Max is here. Okay, it's reversed for me. The mirror's backwards.
You're kind of down for me, but anyway, we're here. We're here, but not.
We're here, but not.
We're
not in the same room. We're keeping our distance from each other and from other people because something has changed in the world, Max. Something I don't think anybody really saw coming, which I'm not going to spend a lot of time on because I think everyone's kind of aware of what that is.
Yes.
The reason for us sort of touching base now and having this call was to chat about it. So I think the biggest thing for us to realize, what are we calling this segment again? I've forgotten what we're calling this segment. It's Can You Hear Me, right?
Yes, I can hear you. What do we want to call this again? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Max.
Can you hear me?
What are we calling it? That's what I'm trying to ask you.
I almost felt that. No, we're calling it Can You Hear Me?
We are. We're calling it Can You Hear Me? The reason...
Oh, is that why you said Can You Hear Me to me? Did I get completely chopped up?
So the reason for Can You Hear Me is because there's a lot of workers right now, office workers such as myself, who are working remotely. It's a it's probably the most common phrase that I've heard this week is Can You Hear Me? Because of the amount of digital calls where people, technology issues. It's a bit of a teething phase for everyone, I think, globally. But also, the second, it has a double meaning. So Max and I really just realized that people may... there's a lot going on. And I think that people may feel that they can't express it. They can't talk about it because, everybody's suffering, some more than others. And having, personal concerns may not feel like a big deal at this point in time. Everyone's worried. But I think it's really important that we can sort of talk about what's going on in the world, how it affects us all, even just at a mental level. And again, something that I personally, I'm going to be completely honest, I've really been struggling with, and that is finding, again, the beauty in the small things in this crazy, crazy, crazy world we're in. So, Max, let's have a bit of a chat, man. How have you been?
Yeah.
I haven't actually, this is genuinely the first time Max and I have spoken since the outbreak. So Max,
quite a while.
What's going on, man? Tell me how you're feeling. What are you thinking? What's going through your mind about this whole thing?
To be honest, like a lot of people, I guess in a sense, I'm scared. I'm going to go in a bit of a snake way here. So just, roll with the punches. I'm scared to a degree. I mentioned this to you before, and this isn't me trying to poke the bear or upset anyone, but I think that the general public at the moment, especially over here, what I've noticed, especially being a retail worker, is a lot of people really blasé about things. And while I can appreciate to a degree staying cool when things get tough, keeping a level head, you still have to understand why some of the statements that are being made the way they are. Like why social distancing is a thing, why washing your hands so much is a thing. Um, but I'm also kind of optimistic in the sense that I think that this is a wonderful learning
Mm.
opportunity for a lot of people. Um, a lot of people are concerned about, are we going to go on a lockdown? Are we going to have a quarantine? Uh, I don't want to be putting unnecessary pressure on people, putting things in people's
Mm-hmm.
heads. I think we will, and to be quite honest, I think we should. Um, and that's to keep people
Mm.
safe. More than anything, I'm not so concerned about my safety as much as if I had something, given that I am younger and a bit more healthy, I would really not want to give that to someone who I know can't cope with it.
Yeah.
And one thing I also want to say on that is that there's a bit of a thing going on at the moment where I'm young, I'm healthy, this is no big deal to me. Well, someone in the WHO, and I can't remember who because I'm hopeless with these things, did come forward and say, hey, look, there's a lot of stuff going around where young people are like, we're invincible to this. You're not. So also don't get caught in that illusion. But on getting away from me being a bit of a doom and gloom firing line here, let's jump to the other side of the fence. Um, 2 weeks inside, I got books to read, I got things I want to write, shows I want to catch up on. I can still call my parents, I can call my friends. But better yet as well, it makes me, if you want to try a way to think about it, I think, like, it's got me sitting here thinking, like, oh, well, I mean, where do I want to go when I'm able to go? Do I want to go to the beach? Do I want to climb a mountain? Do I want to go for a nature walk? Like, and who do I want to go with me? Because I got time to work that out and plan it. Because the thing is like, if you're just going to sit at home and the only way you're going to look at it is, I'm going to be stuck because all this crap, yada, 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 then yeah, you're going to have a bad time, Ching. But if you're like, okay, there's some stuff going on, we'll see what's up. I think, you know, um, you have to purposely preoccupy yourself and don't just go. My biggest suggestion in this moment wouldn't be, I have a book I guess I should read because I have nothing else to do. No, 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 no. I'm going to read that book because I've always wanted to read that book. I'm going to watch that show because up until now I've had 89 squadrillion people tell me I need to watch Game of Thrones. So fine, I'll sit down and watch it. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. Like, this is, you know, you might have to put some makeup on it
Mm.
and take it for dinner a few times, but this is a blessing in disguise to some degree.
Yeah.
And it's an uphill battle, man, but it's going to be what it's going to be. But I think the biggest thing to remember is that this whole social distancing thing, it's not just because you should. It's kind of your responsibility. Like, you've got to be mindful. Because if you're looking at statistics, there are certain areas where, a few people got it, and then in a week, the amount of cases has tripled or
Yeah.
quadrupled. Because people just aren't being mindful.
Yeah.
And, I don't know about you, and I'm not trying to take this to a dark place, but if I had it and wasn't suffering too badly, because once again, young, happy, do some activity stuff, and gave it to someone, and they were to suffer a much worse fate, I feel pretty bad if I take a cookie from the cookie jar. I'm not sure if I can level out with that kind of guilt.
Yeah.
But, and I'm not saying we should be guilt-tripping ourselves, I'm just saying we should be conscious. Yeah. And we should be, as far as everything goes, if the WHO doesn't say it, it ain't a thing. People need to get that going on as well. Because already we've got but such and such in this place is a wonderful home remedy for ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Well, yeah, no, this is serious,
Yeah. Oh, look, I think I appreciate what you said there too about, home remedies and, if you do this, you're immune. And I think we've got to take it seriously. Like you said, as much as I do believe there is a lot of value in at-home remedies and proper health and proper nutrition and all that, I think, like you said, it is something to take seriously. The other thing is too, this is the way it is, and it's not just happening to one or two of us. It is a global thing. So every single human being on Earth right now is feeling the effects of this. I think we have to realize that, you know. So, and I think in a weird way, it kind of brings the world a little bit closer together. Number one, because what we're doing now, you know, you're at least a 20-minute drive away from me. We're having a chat. You know, it's very, very similar to what we have been doing with the podcast usually. There's also, I think the reality is what it is. We can't change what's happened. We can't change what's going on around us. We can't speed up a cure. We can't assume anything. We can't push anything to make it go faster. We can't exempt ourselves, exempt the people around us. So I think taking the emotion out of it, I understand there's a lot of damage and a lot of pain and a lot of it's affecting economies globally. It's affecting health. People are losing their lives. You know, there is huge disruption globally. There's no doubt there, but unfortunately, it is the way it is. You know, and coming from somebody who I was and I still am very, very, very close to investing in a business, and those plans for me have been dampened slightly. It's not something I'm not going to do.
This is an interesting time to approach that kind of thing.
It is, yeah, but it just gets me thinking, like, the people who are in small business right now, I fully understand how difficult this is, how destructive this is for a small business. Like, you look at your Woolworths and your Coles, they're thriving right now, let's be honest. They're putting limits on how much you can buy because they can't afford to keep up. But then there's small business who are going out of business completely. I know there's small pubs, there's small cafes, there's small. I'm thinking particularly food. You know, there's. I haven't driven Uber in about 3 months, but I can imagine that there is significant change to that market. You know, as with all markets, I think, you know, looking at the economy, it's not in a great place right now, and I don't think that's going anywhere quickly. So that, you know, as much as it sounds all doom and gloom, that's the reality. I wasn't trying to go doom and gloom. That's the reality. However, well, instead of, and I think this is what's really helped me with this and other things as well, is focusing on, okay, cool, trying to pull myself out of that and go, okay, cool. The reality, let's look over in China. The airways have cleared up because there's less pollution, there's less activity over in China. Yes, the economy's taking a big hit, and yes, people are taking a big hit over there, but the earth is recovering in that region of the world. You look over in, I think somebody was telling me too, in London, like the Thames are clean. The river, I think, Thames in London is clean, it's crystal clear. You know, that's something people haven't seen in a very, very, very long time. I think the earth is going to benefit from this as bad of a situation as it is. You know, I think there are some positives. I think as well, going forward, so in our post-apocalyptic era, we're going to see a big change in the way people, in the way business operates. I know there's a lot of offices out there, businesses that are not in 2020 digitally ready to have remote teams, and I think this has kind of just thrown them into the deep end, going, you either have remote teams or your employees are exposed. Your business will, so I think as it's like it's pulling teeth. It really is, you know, or it hurts. It really does, and I can't explain how much I sort of feel for the people around me, the businesses that I'm seeing affected. You know, there's all sorts, like I said, of pain going around at the moment, but at the same time, it's unavoidable change. It really is. There's nothing any of us can do about it, unfortunately. So, with that said, back to who we are, beauty in the small things. I wanted to take a moment, Max, and ask you how you keeping. I know it feels really light and really blasé again about, you know, like I said, I can't begin to emphasize enough just how much I know people are going through pain right now, but rather than focusing on that pain, I think if we can attempt to find and hold on to with everything we've got some form of hope, some form of goodness, it'll help us all to get through these tougher times. So, Max, for you, what kind of things have you been doing, I suppose, if anything? Like, if you haven't, let's talk about that as well, but what kind of things have you been actively doing to try and keep yourself out of despair, like genuine despair, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, I think it's funny because this is going to be one of those times where a lot of people are going to have to learn about themselves, because you're going to have yourself and maybe two or three other people to keep you company. Um, and when it kind of boils down to it, keeping your own company in a very genuine way is a struggle. But I think the main things that you want to be looking at are those kinds of things where you start and then an hour, 2 hours float by without you realizing. And I know, unfortunately, some of those things might be, hard to get to at the moment, given everything. But for me, it's things like writing. I've been writing a lot. Reading. Get yourself some nice books. That's horrible in the light. Please sponsor me, Raymond D. Feist. I don't know. I play music as well, so I'm playing guitar and things like that as often as possible. But look, I know you can't do it in the classic sense or in the way that it's meant, but it is a good time for Netflix and chill. There's plenty of good, quality services out there. But I think, people are pack animals. You want to communicate. You want to be with other people. And I think the best thing you can do is, because that's going to be a very neutral feeling, it's going to be like messaging people, calling people, especially like family and loved ones, close friends and stuff like that. You need to don't let yourself get caught in the trap of just like, I guess I'll clean my room, something. Like, don't be grasping at straws of things to do. I'm happy to sit here and do these things because something in my head and in my heart goes, oh, I want to do that. It's gonna feel good when I do it. And that's what you need to do. You kind of, in your own time, maybe something that I suggest is, I do a little thing. I read it in a book. Good book. Do I have the book here? Give me a second. So there's a book called Ikigai, and there's another book called Ichigo Ichi that I've read. I love them dearly. They're about like Japanese ways of life and philosophy. But anyway, one thing they suggest in those for you to get more focused is put a 25-minute timer on, and then do some work in those 25 minutes, and then do a 10-minute timer where you chill. And I know this will sound really weird, but while you can't go to your work because work has a cool routine scratched into you, no matter how much you dislike it, it does. That's why you've gone so consistently for who knows how long. Pick these things that you like, and for those 25 minutes, I know this will sound weird, treat them like they're a job. Be like, no, I gotta do that. And next thing you know, that 25 minutes will go, and then you can have a 10-minute break, and then 25 minutes again. And I normally go 25 minutes, 10 minutes, 25 minutes, and then I'll have like a 20 or 30-minute break in the middle there. It's like, I can have a snack and watch a show that I like. And then I just roll on the wheel like that. Bing, boom. Just keep the ball rolling. Because you can't, have you seen World War Z? Probably not a good...
I haven't, no, I know of it.
Zombie movie stuff right now, because that could kick off all sorts of conspiracies. But there's a thing in that where Brad Pitt says to a bunch of people, movement is life. And I feel like that's key here. You've got to keep moving, be it mentally, physically, or emotionally at this time, because it can be really easy to kind of like have atrophy in any of those three areas right now when you're just kind of cooped up in your own little box. So yeah, that's kind of my advice and things that I've been doing. Like, I've been not putting pressure on myself, but just trying to keep some level of consistency, because if that's what's going to break more people than anything. That's when the whole like, man, F this, F that, I want out, like this sucks, like who cares, I'm just going to go out and see people anyway. That kind of like giving into that kind of like nihilism, that self-destructive behavior, that's not going to help anyone. It'll feel good for a moment, but, if we all give into it, then it's not a good idea. I don't think personally, because, you never know. And that's a problem, like, you gotta do something. I don't know, like, jump online. I know people are very concerned about money at the moment, but maybe digitally buy some records or I've had this. Because I thought of this because I've had it for ages. I've had this sitting in the CD packet for like forever now, and I've still not listened. There's 3 CDs on here. I got time to do that now.
They're
I'm
cup
gonna listen to
coasters.
that.
Cup coasters.
Whoa, buddy. I don't use Rory as a cup coaster. All right? That's my boy.
Oh, I meant
Let's-
CDs in general. I meant
oh,
digitalist.
Alright, bucko. No, but and that's the thing. Like, see, like right now, I'm sure that if we weren't recording something, you and I could probably press on for a good 2 or 3 hours of just something, just a good back and forth. And I think to kind of as the magnum opus of my statement here, if I can, be so arrogant as to crown my ramblings, is that now is going to be, as you said, a really interesting time to realise how connected we can be as people. Because at the moment, in my opinion, there are a lot of illusions around connection. Oh, I go out and I drink with these people. Or, I go out and do this with these people. But man, it's just kind of this weird relationship that's strung on by these things. But right now, when you're at home and you're doing all this stuff, you're going to start to look into things that you really enjoy as you start to keep your own company. And you're going to start talking to people about those things. And I think this will be a good time to build some really genuine connections. And then, when it's all over and done, you can go to those people to all the beautiful cafes that will be opening back up and enjoy a wonderful drink and a little scone or a cake. Man, I really want a scone or a cake. And, it'll all be good because you kept your social distance and, you did the things you love. So, yeah, and this is not saying that it's going to be easy. It's going to be difficult, but you have to hold yourself accountable to some degree, and that consistency is the best way to do it.
I think you're exactly right there, But one thing I wanted to touch on as well, you said now is the time to build some genuine connections with people. Yeah, it's going to be in a different format, but we're humans, we adapt. I think that's just the reality. It's a big strength that humans have as well, and I think it's something that we need to appreciate right now. It's difficult, but we can connect with other people in a positive or a negative way. And I think particularly in a situation like this, it's very, very easy to connect in a negative way. The government this and people that they're all down at Bondi, or the government's not shutting down, or these people, there's others that there's too much emphasis being put on Corona and all this. But I think if we really sit down and just it is, again, it sounds like I'm trying to lecture. I'm just saying, for me, what's been working is you connect with people who want to make this as positive of an experience as possible. So one thing that I personally have been doing, I sat down and I thought, look, what's the reality? Reality is people are going to be staying home from work, or people are going to be working from home, depending on what you do, and they may want to upskill. They may look towards the world going forward and what it would be or could be. And so I thought, okay, cool, maybe I can build something to help those people, which would also help me in return. So I've been working on a couple of courses. I don't think I've actually told you this, Max, but I've been working on a few courses around Salesforce and sort of teaching what I know, starting at a really low level, nice and simple, nice and basic, and building up from there. So that was something I thought, okay, cool, I've got a bit more time for myself. I want to be able to still help people. It's going to be in a different format to what I thought I was 2 weeks ago. You asked me how I was going to be helping people. It wasn't this, but situation's evolving. So yeah, I think if we focus on positive ways that we can still impact the world in a different format, different things we're doing, I think it's, before we know it, this will blow over. There will be some sort of change. But again, I think this is where we probably should look at ending it too, is don't focus on now, because now is dog crap. Let's be honest. Businesses are shutting down. People are sick, dying, scared. It is a terrible, terrible, terrible time in human history. However,
Mm.
there will come a time in the future, I know this for a fact, where the earth will be healthier, people will be more evolved, business will be more evolved as well. Um, People will be more, I think, like Max said, will be more connected if we treat this as an opportunity. As again, I know this sounds preachy, but we can make something good come out of this. Um,
Mm.
and I think day by day, just focus on what's coming, not what's here now. So coming in the good sense, what the world will be or what you can do in the meantime. And I think that's the biggest thing to keep in mind is people are scared right now, and I'm terrified. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to
Yeah.
pretend that I'm all high and mighty and all this. A plan that I had has kind of fallen through massively, which it really sucks.
Yeah.
Work is on the table. There's people losing their jobs. I know for a fact that my job could potentially be on the line as much as we are sort of online based. There's that. I don't know then how I'll pay the bills. That's just the reality. I can't. There's not a lot I can do about that, but what I can, I'm trying to. So, where I'm putting my head is not, oh my God, how do I pay for things? It's okay. After this has all happened, where do I want to be? And I'm just trying to work towards that. I think that's all we can do. But
I think that's incredibly commendable. I just want to say briefly.
It's something I choose to do, and it's something that is not an easy choice. It is a difficult, and I fall daily. Every day I'm just like, I don't know how we're going to make it through this. But, taking a second again to sort of just sit, think, okay, cool. What is. We can't change that. What's coming, we can change. And I think that's what we need to talk about. But
In my opinion, just on that kind of thing briefly, and I'm sorry to cut you in there, is with jobs and everything, I very much understand everyone's concern. I work in a retail business, and the exact brand of I don't think will be considered so essential that it'll stay open when things kick off properly. But my opinion is that we can only really tackle one problem at a time, and I think as the government comes to accept the reality, because they're in as uncertain waters as we are, and they have a bigger ship to steer. But the thing is once everything gets going, and I want people to kind of think about this, is that when X amount of people suffer at the hands of their inaction, they will have to do something whether they like it or not. And that might take a while, and I know it sucks, and that probably doesn't ease anyone's kind of fears in that regard, but hold your head high and know that, they can't just leave people behind. Who are you going to govern if you leave people behind? They'll have to do something eventually.
And I think regardless of anything too, regardless of how business or government or whoever continues, and as much as we can try and stay positive and plan for the future and all this sort of thing, it is important to talk and reach out, because as much as it's unprecedented what we're going through, people will still be suffering mentally. There are going to be a lot of like I said, I know for me, I've had to reach out to people recently and go, I genuinely am struggling. Just the day to day getting out of bed is awful. I'm not going to lie to you. My depression has come back after about a year, which sucks, but it's reality. But I know that there are people around me that I can talk to, and I feel like that's something that I want to encourage anyone to do who's struggling, is just talk, because it frees you. It really does. This is a sucky period. There's no way around that. But if you talk to the people around you, that's what your friends are for, right? To be there for each other, and to try and support each other through this tough time. So, Max, I think we should call it there, because we've been chatting for about half an hour already.
There we go. I knew we'd clock over the time limit.
Oh, mate, that's so good. I think this has been good. So I appreciate you coming on again and doing this.
No, thank you. I appreciate you asking me for that. I'm always happy to, yak away. I'm just an old man who looks young.
I love it. And thank you to anybody who watched our little ramblings. I hope.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I hope that it's been beneficial. Like I said, I know these are not easy times. There's no path ahead of us that we can see. But I know for a fact, I have faith that whatever is supposed to happen will happen, you know, regardless of your spiritual, religious beliefs, or if you think I'm just speaking poetically, you know, I think whatever's going to happen will happen. That's the reality. And we can only sort of try and be the best that we can and do the best that we can in that. We're going to fall. People around us are going to fall. And I think this really is a time to just show each other in our community, in our global community, that we're, you know, that we're going to do our best for each other, I suppose, you know. So support those around you, lean on those around you when you need it, and that's really all I wanted to say. And try and focus on what's going to come out the other side of this, not where we are right now, because where we are now is bad reality. So Max, you've frozen.
My closing words will be, I suppose it feels like to me this is our best attempt to put our good foot forward and say that, you know, whatever feelings you might be having out there, you're not alone on them. And the reason why we want to say it is because we're just two random guys on the internet who did a podcast for a bit. So, you know, it's not that our word has more weight, it's just that we're not afraid to put ourselves out there. And the thing is that I'm reminded at the moment of the thought that real strength is a combining element. Real strength is a unification of many small things. And we are the small things and the beauty in them. And at the moment, we want people to be comfortable with the idea of coming together, to be strong, because we all have to take our responsibility for this and be prepared for things to get better. Not prepared for things to get worse, prepared for things to get better. Yeah. And that is a long and hard road by the looks of things, but it's not as hard with people at your back offering you some help.
100%. Even though we're distant, supposed to be physically distant, I think, like you said, in the digital age, we can you know, bring people closer together than ever before. So I think that's where we'll end it. Again, thank you, Max. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I don't know if this will be a one-off episode or, you know, a new format, but yeah,
we'll see.
We just wanted to start the conversation. It is difficult, but yeah, we can do it together digitally. So yeah, have a fantastic rest of your day, guys, and thank you again. Thanks, Max.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks, Tim. See ya.
So there you go. It's the Can You Hear Me special edition COVID-19 episode of Beauty in the Small Things. I hope it's been able to provide you with some closure, some comfort of some sort. It is going to be a troubling, a trialing time for the world. It's not going to be easy, but just remember there is going to be a time after COVID-19. We're going to live in a different world. That's a reality. But I think for the meantime, all we can really do is accept the reality that we've been given, and try and do our best to survive through it, help other people along the way. But don't hesitate to reach out as well, because I think everybody, this is really going to be a testing time for humans, just seeing how we sort of can help each other out. So if we can help you again, please let us know. Otherwise, we'll just reach out to the people around you if you do need help. It is a very, very, very difficult time globally. So all the best. I hope you got something from this episode, and fingers crossed that we find a way out of this soon as a species. Take care.